Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. And it looks like we are live. Sing it, Phoebe. Oh.
If you were a teacher, I would fail your class, take it over and over till you notice me. If you were a waiting room, I would never see a doctor. I would sit there with my first aid kit and bleed. I wanna be the power that lifts you up and holds you down. I wanna be the brown love song that feeds your misery.
Little folk music coming up in my feed this morning.
But it won't bring us together. Plus I know
There's something incredibly artistically romantic about one instrument, one voice. Just get up there and do it. What is on your mind, Phoebe? I think she went on to be pretty big. This is like 12 years ago. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Good morning to the program. Good morning to the program where we talk about fascinating subjects in our time. And I got to tell you, one of the most fascinating things that I've seen in a real long time, we always knew that it was coming, right? Criminal prosecution of seemingly innocent people for things like thought crimes. Donald Trump, love him or hate him, unfortunately, we have to talk about him again. In the state of Georgia, Donald Trump is being charged with many, many felonies for election interference. And upon further investigation, you realize that those are not actually crimes, but they're things, they're events that happened. And conspiratorially, they are whipped into crimes. For example, someone is running for office and claims that the election was stolen from him. And for that, it's a crime because it's conspiracy to defraud the American people, right? It's a wild, bizarre conspiracy theory. But here's the deal. I think most people in America, and I do say most, I would say more than half of the people in America believe that Donald Trump is being railroaded, slowed down so that he can't compete fairly in the 2024 election. I think that that's pretty clear. Trump is a former president of the United States. To say that his judgment in this election interference thing was off, but his ability to handle world affairs was not off, is rather ridiculous. But here's the kicker, right? Donald Trump is being slowed down in the state of Georgia by two people. There's Fannie Willis, the radical black activist, Black Panther family member. Member of the Black Panthers, the district attorney in Georgia, and also now there's a new judge we're going to take a look at. What's his name? His name is Judge. This guy right here. What's his name? Judge. Well, anyway, we'll take a look at the judge in the case. But here's the problem, right? In this. When you look into the order, Trump is now required to pay $200,000 bond to get himself jail free in the state of Georgia. But there's a gag order in there inside the document that Trump needs to agree to and pay $200,000 to agree to so that he doesn't have to sit in jail. It explicitly says that Trump is not allowed to, quote, intimidate and or discuss details about this case with anyone, right? That's virtually impossible for a person running for the presidency of the United States, running on a platform of election reform, right? That's what Trump is doing. Trump is trying to tell the country, tell the world that the elections in America are deeply flawed. And now a judge in Georgia, some 35-year-old white guy, we'll look into his background, now has jurisdiction over Trump, which is precisely what the Democratic Party wanted. Now, this judge, what's going to happen to this judge is not pressure from the Republican Party, but pressure from the Democratic Party. Every single time Trump does something that advances his polling numbers or political, direction, the Democrats are going to jump up and say, you see, Trump is violating his bond order, and he should be thrown in jail, right? Mr. Judge, why aren't you doing something about it? So this guy's going to become patsy number 2, right? Whether he likes it or not, however he was picked is irrelevant. But the great state of Georgia is now deeply, deeply involved in election interference, whether they realize it or not. And and again, you can't make it up. This is actually happening in our country. Former president of the United States being gagged prior to an election for frivolous, ridiculous thought crimes of a George Orwellian nature. So there's my thumbnail today. Here he is. There's the guy. There's the judge. Right? I forgot his name already. And there's Fannie down in the bottom, right, too. This is who's coming after Trump. These are your patsies. Know them well. These are the fall guys, 36, 34-year-old, whatever he is. He's in his 30s, mid-30s. And he now has jurisdiction over Trump, because Trump's a bad guy. Crazy, man. Crazy times we live in. So that's what we'll talk about today again. Also in New York, Wall Street is fleeing New York City in droves, heading down to Florida, where it's cheaper and it's less dangerous and better weather, they say. So New York is really losing its edge in terms of its real estate. The tycoons, the people that occupy Manhattan, that pay, upwards of 15 to 20% of the tax revenue. Guys that make millions of dollars spend millions of dollars. That's just the way it is. So anyway, what's up? So good morning, everybody. Zoot Cooter in the house. Our Wrenches Weevil Girl, Vinny DiMartini, Justin Falzone, what's up? Kaz Philly Camden, Vic Morrow is here as well. Just bear with me today. I'm dealing with more of this teeth problem. Marty Sconti's losing all his teeth. And it's actually depressing. It's one of these things where you realize, you know what it is? Everybody, every human deals with it. You deal with the realization that you're not young anymore, that you're aging, right? And there's nothing you can do about it. You can hold on for dear life, right? You keep yourself healthy. That's not to say that you don't keep yourself healthy, but your days are numbered, right? If you're 60, maybe you got what? If you're good, you got 30 years left, 25, 30, maybe 35 years left. And even if you're 25, you only got 70 years left or 60 years left. But the realization that that life is short, and sometimes you got to deal with, losing your fucking, losing your human parts, right? But anyway, I'm working on it. I'll have a complete set of new teeth very soon. I'm working on it. Right? Brand new, right? They're brand new, right? They're still in the box. They haven't even been made yet, and so I'll be trying those out very, very soon. And I don't know. That's what this program's about. It's trying to be honest, trying to be truthful in a philosophical, educational way, in a human way, trying to assess the noise that's going on today. People being prosecuted for thought crimes. Who's next? They got Trump. Now they'll come after you. Right? That's what happens most of the time. So anyway, I have a website every morning at 9 a.m. We're live right here on YouTube. If you want to donate to the program, you can do it through Zelle and PayPal, Patreon. If you want to help Daddy buy a new pair of teeth, let me know, and we'll get that done. So anyway, so let's start here. Give it to me. This is a good story. Enjoying it. Astronomers hopeful of receiving an alien reply today after beaming message out into space 40 years ago. Hold on a second. I got to shut the window. All kinds of noise outside. So a bunch of astronomers 40 years ago, back in the 80s, sent out a message, an electronic message. And look what they did. They didn't put words. They made pictures, right? Assuming that whatever creature reads it has eyeballs or some way of detecting what was in there. But look at this. Look at the image they sent out. It's fascinating, right? It's a series of... It's in Japanese. At least the captions are for us. But it tries to explain things in a very simplistic way. Like, these are amoeba. Right? This is a sea life, right? It looks like a squid, a fish crawling out of the earth. Look, a man, ape, a man with children and another man, right? Fascinating, right? Beaming this stuff out into space, expecting someone in the great abyss to answer it, right? Can't make it up. So astronomers are anxiously waiting to see if today will be the day humanity finds out if we have intelligent neighbors in the cosmos. 4 decades after sending a message out into the universe. Wow. Right, so talk about sending out a message in a bottle. Right? That's what this is. Message in a bottle. It's an electronic message in a bottle. We beam it into space and assume that someone has the technology to receive it. The message contained 13 drawings depicting the history of life on Earth. I couldn't figure it out. Is that the history of life on Earth? According to who? A bunch of X's and O's, whatever. It was then. The long story short, it was sent out on August 15th, 1983. Astronomers at Stanford University did this, and for some reason, they're waiting today. There's a solar system called Altair, right? Altair, the brightest star in the night sky, right? 16.7 light years away. Right? This is kind of ridiculous, though, right? You drop a message in a bottle, and then you can calculate the exact day that someone is going to answer. See, they're assuming that the message got to the planet, and then it would take about the same amount of time to rebound at us. So essentially what they're expecting is a response of more than 20 years ago, right? They sent something out, and 20 years later it gets to the planet, and then the planet has a chance to respond to it somehow 20 years later. But it is fascinating how we think, right? Humans are desperate to find and or prove life exists on other planets, right? By sending pictures, little pictures of ourselves, little pictures of monkeys and stuff. So these are one of the Japanese scientists that let it off. 40 years ago, messages, knowledge of our, right, explaining DNA to that's what it is. They're trying to explain DNA, right? The XX, XY chromosomes, how they mix. Nobody gives a shit about that. Nobody cares about that. It's primitive, right? You think these people give a shit about XY, YY, XYZ chromosomes? Probably not. So anyway, so it looks like New York loses $1 trillion in Wall Street business as firms flee the city. Now, this has been going on for a while, truthfully. A lot of firms on Wall Street have little trading facilities down there in Florida. And the traders and the investment bankers love it because they could work a little bit and then they could go out to the beach and the ocean, right? They don't have to travel to the fucking Hamptons like they do in New York. Right? On your day off in New York City, you got to get in a car and drive 2 hours to get to clean water. But not in Florida. Florida, some of these facilities, some of these trading firms are building stuff right by the beach, and their employees love it. So, not a new thing, but it does look like it's getting more intense. A giant sucking sound is coming out of Wall Street, and it's siphoning staggering sums of money out of the Big Apple while handing business to Florida and other states far south. So we're talking about $1 trillion with a T, right? Right? Yeah, because they're worried about rampant crime, stiff taxes, and increasingly exorbitant cost of living. 158 fed-up financial firms representing $1 trillion packed up and left the Big Apple. So there you go, man. Congratulations, New York. High crime, all the lawlessness. You know, nobody no rich people want to see that. The next to go is the tourism, right? When tourists stop feeling safe in New York, now you got a real problem. If Wall Street leaves, that's bad. But if the tourists don't invade Manhattan, then the shit is really bad. It gets really bad, right? There's 10 million people in New York City that depend on the tourism to some degree. And if that stops, we're going to be in trouble. So New York can't get out of its own way with this. And so I want to jump into the story. So and then we'll look at the markets at 9:30. Looks like we're going higher. Everything's up. NASDAQ was up big yesterday, bigly. Futures are up bigly right now again. At least the NASDAQ futures are. S&P 500 up 0.39%. Dow Jones Industrial Average up 0.07% before the open. NVIDIA, oh my God, NVIDIA running to the top, up 8.5%. Man, did I have to eat my hat on that one. Wrong. But everything looks like it's coming off the bottom a little bit. We'll see if it continues. Tesla, huge run yesterday. Tesla up 15 points. Add another 10 this morning, up 25 points in 2 days. So it looks like maybe we've bottomed out here, and now it goes back up. We'll see. It's got to continue. We'll see if you can get a continuation in the run. You know. So. Yeah, so here we go. So Donald J. Trump, judge sets bond for Trump allies in Georgia election interference case. Oh boy. Fulton County, Georgia, County Supreme Court Judge Scott McAfee. McAfee, right? That was the crazy guy that killed himself, right? The McAfee, the antivirus guy. The computer antivirus guy. Same name, different guy. Scott McAfee has officially set former President Donald J. Trump bond at $200,000 regarding the multiple charges he faces in connection to alleged interference in the state's 2020 election. Now, why are you setting a bond for Trump, right? Is Trump a flight risk? Really? Is Trump a risk of vanishing and not showing up at court? How fucking ridiculous. He is one of the most watched persons, most famous people in the world. How is Trump going to, fucking flee? And why would he want to over such ridiculous charges? But nonetheless, they set the bond at $200,000. Trump faces 13 charges. His RICO charge was set at 8. All right, so I want to read the actual thing itself. There's Fannie. Where's the indictment? Where did it go? 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 Oh yeah. No. Where did it go? Hold on a second. I had the indictments. They were here, and now they're not here. Oh, here we go. You got to open it. Okay, yeah, there it is. All right. So let me talk about it. I'll talk about it now. Sorry about that. So $200,000. Trump says, "I assume, therefore, that she thought I was a flight risk. I'd fly away, maybe to Russia. Share a gold dome with Vladimir Putin. Never to be seen or heard again," says Trump. So Trump's laying into these people. He's not letting it. He's not letting it go. But let's read the indictment. So here, this bond, consent bond, all legal now. Now we're in legal talk, legal arena. Trump is now an accused felon for voicing his opinion on election fraud. He organized the whole thing. He defrauded the American people, and on and on and on. Right? All right, here's how much he has to pay to keep his freedom: $8,000, $10,000, $80,000, $10,000, $10,000. Do all the adds up to $200,000. Criminal conspiracy, 5 times, filing false documents. All right. So number one, he has to pay an amount. These are the stipulations of his order. Number 2, defendant shall not violate the law of this state or any other state. All right, that's a given. Number 3, the defendant shall appear in court as directed by the court. Uh-oh. Number 3 is a problem. You could see how a judge and a court have power over Trump. Remember, the judge could revoke Trump's bail and order Donald J. Trump, former president of the United States, to jail. Would he actually do that? Well, I don't know. I don't know how much money he makes as a judge. He might make $200-300 grand as a judge. How much is he going to make for locking up Trump? 20 million, 50 million? Who's going to give the judge a yacht and an island to retire to and $50 million in his equity account? Somebody's willing to do that to take Trump down. It's better than advertising. Right? Knock Trump down and elevate deadbeat Biden. Right? But listen to this. So number 3, defendant shall appear in court as directed by the court. Right? The court will direct you. Even if you're on the fucking campaign trail, Mr. Trump, we don't care. You're a criminal, and you need to appear in court right fucking now. Right, so that's what you're going to hear. You're going to hear Fannie. Fannie. Here she is. Fannie. Fannie. That's the judge. There's Fannie. Hi, Fannie. Judge is a criminal. Judge is a... Trump is a criminal. Right. So I'm trying to focus. The Novocaine is still in my head, I think. I got a shot of Novocaine right in the front of my fucking mouth yesterday. It caused it was so intense. My nose was numb, literally. My nostrils are numb, or were numb anyway. So defendant shall make no direct... Listen to this. It's unbelievable. Number 3, Trump will appear as directed by the court. Number 4, the defendant shall perform no act to intimidate any person known to him or her to be a co-defendant or witness in this case, or to otherwise obstruct the administration of justice. any, obviously there's no co-defendant to be intimidated, but certainly a witness in the case. Who's a witness to this case? Some fucking, election poll jerk-off lady that rigged an election, and Trump is going to point to it and say these people were moving boxes of ballots around without consent or accountability, right? That in itself, a statement like that could be considered obstruction. See, you see what's happening here? The reason for the criminal indictment is to gag Trump. This is a gag order, gagging Trump from speaking, right, and acting. All right, so the defendant shall make no direct or indirect threat of any nature against any co-defendant. Right? Now, it seems pretty obvious, but in this state of thought crime, what exactly is a threat? What does a threat mean? He said boo, and I got scared. He's threatening me. Right? No, he said boo, and you got scared. Right? It has nothing to do with you. But the liberal left mentality is that everything is a direct threat to them. You're directly threatening me. I feel threatened by you. That's what's happening, right? And so anything that Trump says or does could be perceived as a threat. So that's A. B, defendant shall make no direct or indirect threat of any nature against any witness, including but not limited to the individuals designated in the indictment. All right. That seems to be more of the same. C, the defendant shall make no direct or indirect threat of any nature against any victim. Any victim. Who's a victim? Who's the victim in this crime? People... The allegation is that he defrauded the American people. So the American people, according to this, are the victim. Right? Who's the direct victim of this crime? Well, they're saying that, again, Trump tried to defraud the American people, making basically everybody in the country a victim. It's really bizarre, right? The defendant shall make no direct or indirect threat of any nature against any victim. Now, you might be saying to yourself, well, it's just basic ground rules and it's not really enforceable. But yes, it is. Look where we are already, how fast we got to, criminal charges, bringing Trump into a court criminally. Right. This is election interference. That's the reason why they're doing it. That's the reason why this is happening. To interfere with an election. This is what it looks like. The criminals are. It's criminal. It's criminals prosecuting. Number 3. Oh, I got that one. Number 4. D. The defendant shall make no direct or indirect threat of any nature against the community or any property in the community. Right, again, the word here is threat. That's what they're going to try to construe as everything Trump says is a threat. A threat to what? A threat to your guy winning an election? A threat to your distorted perceptions of the world? That's what it is. What is Trump threatening? How are you threatened by Trump? You really think Trump is going to say, if you don't get out of my way, I'm going to fucking kill you? There's nothing like that in these things. Trump talks talk, right? He has expanded the definition, if nothing else, expanded the definition of free speech. What are people freely allowed to say? And that's what Trump is. I think, in the final analysis, that's what Trump represents: the ability to speak openly. And so, and here's the big one: E. A, B, C, D, E. The last one, the last stipulation that Trump must follow is this: the above shall include but are not limited to posts on social media or reposts of posts made by another individual on social media. Could you imagine now if Trump tweets something, right, on Truth Social or on Twitter, and this judge or some crazy person stands up and says, I feel threatened by what Trump is saying. I'm an American citizen. I feel threatened. Now, the judge is going to be pressured, can be pressured to what? To enforce the bond that Trump signed on to, the agreement that Trump signed on to for his freedom, right? That's what we have here, right? So we have a definitive gag order, which includes posts on social media, right? You would get guys like even Kyle Kalinske will say, you see, Trump is out there threatening everybody. AOC, oh, I feel threatened. Fannie Willis, oh, I feel threatened. So here's Fannie. Who is Fannie? This is the district attorney. I want to continue to point out the patsies in this case. In a year or 2 or 3 years, you're not going to know who these people are. They're going to vanish. They're going to go poof, up in smoke. But here's Fannie, and she is the district attorney of Fulton County, Georgia. And as I've said it earlier or before on the program, she is her father was a member of the Black Panthers. She went to Howard Black University, right? She's got an agenda, right? She studied political science at Howard. So that's Fannie. But let's look at the judge. Here he is. Let's meet the judge. Meet the judge. Dun, 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 dun. He's 34 years old. He's a young man. Meet the 34-year-old judge who will oversee Trump prosecution in Georgia. His name is Scott McGaffey. Mild-mannered with conservative credentials. He was appointed by the governor of Georgia, which is this guy right here. I forgot his name. Linwood? Is that Linwood? No. Atlanta. Oh, that's the Atlanta lawyer. That's the lawyer Linwood. That's not the governor. Excuse me. But he was appointed by the governor of Georgia. Let's just learn a little bit about him. He definitely has a receding hairline. He has all of his teeth. The judge who has been assigned the sweeping racketeering case against former President Donald Trump and 18 others is a 34-year-old. Hold on a second. Let's go to the market. Abrupt switch to the market. Ding, we're open. Okay. All right. So, all right. So the charge forward is still charging forward. NVIDIA up another 6. Apple up 81 cents. Amazon, everything green this morning. Microsoft up 277. Tesla up another 7 points. Rivian down 17 cents. Tilray up 5 cents. Bitcoin getting crushed. Bitcoin is down big. Wow. Bitcoin is at 26,000 a share right now. Was 30. Everybody was anticipating it marching through the 30,000 level. It's back down to 26,000. Significant move down, almost 15% down from the 30. Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Boeing, the military industrial complex stocks, getting Trump out of the way. They might get a real war already. All up this morning. Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, in light of the fact that there's a new COVID strand whipping around through the country, allegedly. All those stocks are, Moderna's up 250, Johnson & Johnson down 12 cents, Pfizer up 12 cents. Long story short, NASDAQ is up at the moment, but it was up bigger in the pre-market, so it's pulling back a little bit. We'll keep an eye on that. So here's the judge who has been assigned the sweeping racketeering case. He's 34 years old. He's a award-winning trial lawyer. There's nothing in here that suggests that he's a henchman, but he's going to get so much pressure up his ass. This guy is going to be he's going to be the white supremacist of the century. He's a Trump supporter. He's a white supremacist. He's a fucking hates blacks or something. They're going to turn him into a white racist, right? A white conservative racist. He favors Trump. He won't arrest Trump because Trump is threatening people. You can't make this stuff up. It's like it's beyond comedy, right? So I'm concerned. It is funny, but number 6, defendant shall not communicate in any way, directly or indirectly, about the facts of this case with any person known to him to be a witness in this case, except through his counsel. Shall not communicate in any way about facts of the case with any person known to him. So if he goes on social media and discusses a specific fact about this case, like the case is going to be heard on a certain date, isn't that a fact of the case? I would be very, very concerned if I was an American citizen who knew anything about the law, right, and was reading this and realized how bad it is, right? When, okay, you'll say, well, Trump's a motherfucker, and if you have Trump derangement syndrome, you would think like, well, this is good. We're reining in Trump, finally. He's a corrupt politician like all the others. No. This is different. This is election interference, right? A president calling out election interference, not a politician being called out for stealing money and taking bribes in the Ukraine and Russia, for example. This is a president doing his job, right, to inform the American people, right? And so Trump is in a bad place now, right? We're all in a bad place. We're all in a bad place. If Trump gets railroaded here, free speech goes down it's already in the toilet, but it's going to go down even deeper in this case, man. So thank you all for joining me. Thank you for dealing with my shortcomings today. I got to go rest, man. I gotta rest off this. My face hurts. My face hurts right now, and the stock market is killing me. So anyway, but thank you all for joining me, and Mark Sconti reporting. Let's listen to Phoebe. Take us out, Phoebe. I'll see you guys tomorrow.